funeral of Officer Ethan Carter was supposed to be a solemn and heartbreaking moment, a final farewell to a brave man who had given his life in the line of duty. His family, friends, and fellow officers gathered, their faces heavy with grief. But among them, no one seemed more devastated than his loyal K-9 partner, Max. Max had been lying silently beside the officers, his ears down, his eyes reflecting deep sorrow. Ever since the night Ethan had been pronounced dead, the dog had refused to eat properly, whimpering in his sleep, waiting at the door as if expecting his partner to return. It was a loss he had felt before. The pain of losing his first partner in a deadly shootout still haunted him. Now, history had repeated itself, and Max was alone once more. As the funeral proceeded, the sound of quiet sobs and the pastor's solemn words filled the air. The wind rustled through the trees, carrying the faint scent of flowers placed atop the casket. Officers sat stiffly in their uniforms, their faces masks of silent pain, their hands clenching their hats in mourning. Ethan's mother clung to his father, her body trembling from the weight of her grief. Then, something unexpected happened. Max, who had remained still until now, suddenly lifted his head, his ears twitching. Then, without warning, he bolted towards a casket. The crowd gasped as the dog began barking furiously. He scratched at the casket, his growls filled with desperation, his body trembling. His eyes, usually full of loyalty and love, were now wild with panic. It was as if he were trying to wake his partner up. The officers tried to calm him down, but Max wouldn't stop. His frantic barking echoed through the cemetery, his paws repeatedly striking the casket as if trying to break it open himself. The attendees exchanged confused and worried glances. Was this just grief driving the dog mad? Or was there something more? Ethan's mother, clutching her chest, whispered, "Something is wrong." Despite the police chief's insistence that the casket remain closed, the family demanded it be opened. It was the only way to calm Max down. Hesitantly, the officers agreed. A hush fell over the crowd as they unlocked the casket, the heavy lid creaking open. A scream pierced the silence. Ethan's mother staggered backward, shaking her head violently. This is my son," she cried, tears spilling down her face. A wave of horror rippled through the crowd. The man inside the casket was not Ethan Carter. Gasps and murmurs spread like wildfire. The funeral instantly turned into a scene of chaos. Officers quickly surrounded the grave, their minds racing for an explanation. How could this have happened? As Max suddenly stopped barking, his body relaxing as if his mission was complete, the truth slowly unraveled. A team of officers rushed to the hospital where Ethan's body had supposedly been taken that fateful night. What they discovered left them speechless. Amid the chaos of the shootout, the wounded officers had been misidentified. One had died from blood loss, while the other had been placed into an induced coma. The man declared dead was not Ethan, but his partner. Ethan Carter was alive, unconscious, recovering from severe injuries, but alive. When Ethan finally woke up weeks later, he struggled to understand the flood of emotions around him. His mother sobbed as she clutched his hand. His colleagues looked at him as if seeing a ghost. And then, through the hospital door, came Max. The moment their eyes met, the dog let out a soft whimper, his tail wagging uncertainly. Ethan, despite the pain coursing through his body, lifted his hand with effort and whispered, "Hey, buddy." Max let out an excited bark before carefully climbing onto the bed, resting his head against Ethan's chest, listening to the heartbeat he had refused to believe was gone. The officer and his loyal companion had been given a second chance. In the days that followed, Ethan learned the full story. The officers who had rushed to the hospital that night had been overwhelmed with casualties. In the chaos, identities had been confused. His family had been given the heartbreaking news that he was gone, while the other officer's family had been left in a painful limbo, thinking their loved one was in a coma, when in reality, he had passed away. The mistake was devastating, but Ethan couldn't focus on the past. He had been given a new chance at life, and he intended to make the most of it. After his release from the hospital, Ethan faced a long road to recovery. His body was weak, his movement slow, but Max never left his side. The dog, who had sensed the truth before anyone else, remained a constant source of strength. Each day, Max helped Ethan walk a little farther, his presence a reminder that he was not alone. Months later, Ethan finally returned to force. His colleagues greeted him with open arms, and Max, now more than just a service dog, was his true partner in every sense of the word. They had been through hell together, but they had come out stronger. Ethan never let Max out of his sight again, and Max, the dog who had twice lost a partner, had saved one instead.